Welcome to RVA Connected with Anna Sothen, the podcast that brings local communities and businesses closer together in Richmond, Virginia. Anna will guide you through the vibrant intersections of RVA's entrepreneurial spirit, community relationships, and the latest insights and strategies for your RVA business. Get ready to feel connected to the heartbeat of our city's small businesses. Here's Anna Sothen.
Good morning, everybody. This is Anna Sothen, and I'm with the In Crowd, and I'm so excited to have you guys here today. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days, because I know that you have a lot of patients to take care of, and I'm glad that you guys are here. So we have Melissa and Ebony that are from Arden Courts of Richmond. So why don't you tell everybody who you are?
I'm Melissa Evans, and I'm the Executive Director for Arden Courts of Richmond. It's a memory care town located next to Bond Square, St. Francis, and we specialize in dementia care.
I love that. So I want to notify everybody, but I don't know if you guys caught it, but it's a memory care town.
Yes.
That is very important, not a memory care unit or not a memory care facility. It is a memory care town, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
So I'm Ebony Jones-Bailey. I'm the memory care advisor at Arden Courts. I am a social worker by trade. So when I found this community, I was like, yes, this is the place I need to be at. This is what I want to be doing.
That's fantastic. So how long, I know, Melissa, you're fairly new to the area, right? When did you get here?
I came to the facility in May of last year, but it was a dream facility. As soon as I walked inside of the memory care town, I said, yes, this is where I want to be. This is my dream job, to work in a memory care town and be in an environment that's supportive and exciting to be in dementia.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the town, right? So when you first walk in, it literally is like cobblestone lined streets, right?
Oh,
and you guys have lamps. And so when you walk into it, it is literally like walking down Main Street of like your small town. Like anybody who lives in Powhatan, that's what it looks like, and that's what it feels like. So talk about some of the specialties or sections that make it feel like.
So it's definitely a wow when you first open those double doors and you walk in. It's just like, wow, I did not expect this. I actually toured the community before I started working there, and that's the feeling I got with, oh man. I tell everybody I brought my daughter there for Bring Your Child to Work Day. And she says, Mommy, this looks like Disney. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. It's like Disney for adults. But yes, the architecture and design of the building, they were very specific in the way that they did it. They wanted individuals with dementia, with those memory care needs, to still feel like they could still go out into town, because what happens is, as they're home, they're not able to go to the mall or go to a theater or go to a pub like they used to, because they have those memory care deficits. So we wanted to kind of create a community where they could still do that. They can still live there and still kind of come into a town and be able to experience those same things that they once was able to.
Yes. So when you walk into the facility, you open these double doors and you immediately see the general store.
Yes.
And inside of our general store, we have 3 resident cats, kittens that live.
Oh.
And they came to us from Richmond Animal Control. So we've fostered them, and now they are permanently additions at the facility. So there are mousers in the general store. So it's set up like an actual general store with a cash register and, products you would have found in the 1950s. And then if you continue down the hallway, or as we call it, Main Street, you'll see our ice cream shop. They're just so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I may have had some ice cream.
Multiple flavors. I'm a cookie dough person, so we always have cookie dough. And then we have a tavern. We enjoy beverages, and then after you are in the tavern, you hit the movie theater, and we're always showing movies constantly. Classic movies are very popular, and those are just some of the areas that we have it.
And so the tavern is where they can actually go and have a happy hour.
Oh yeah.
Right. They do that in the afternoons. Now, granted, they're not drinking alcohol, but they do have, so again, it goes back to that even though they have these deficits, you're still providing them with memories of what used to be. And so connecting them to that is super important for somebody who has dementia, correct?
Yeah, and the also kind of neat thing about it is for our local Richmonders that kind of grew up in the Richmond area, those themes are there within the community. So our theater is a landmark theater, which everyone is kind of familiar with the landmark theater. And our ice cream shop or our ice cream bistro, it's called the Carytown Bistro. So it has those little things in there that you would remember if you were out in the local area.
Which I think is fantastic. Again, connecting back to my life. So you're giving them that sense of security where I'm assuming with anybody who has dementia, it's very scary to live in that space, especially not only for them, but for the family members as well too, because they just don't know. And there's a sense of panic when you lose touch with reality. And so you guys are giving them that to them on a daily basis, which is amazing.
So one of the other amazing aspects of the community is they have access to be outside. They can just go through this door and through multiple different ways and go outside and spend time outside in nature because the entire facility is walled in. So it's a safe environment for people who love to garden, love birds. We're a butterfly sanctuary. So spending time in nature with their families and loved ones in a safe environment is very important to us. So often in dementia, you hear, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. We're all about, yes, let's do that. Let's try that. Let's have you explore rather than restrict.
Right.
Yes.
And I love that.
And his ability to be able to do it in a safe environment,
Right.
like Melissa said, a lot of family members, that's one of the things they're trying to make sure their loved ones stay safe, but they're not able to wander freely. So yes, in our community, you can definitely do that and do it in a safe environment. And it is secure by a lock gate. There's a walking path out there where they can kind of make sure they're getting their exercise. We all know that is very important as well. So yeah.
So if you've ever seen their ad in Swift Creek Living or in the Magnolia Green, it is two gentlemen who are outside gardening.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which I think is, again, it's just activities are very, very beneficial for them. So,
Absolutely.
but do not go there and try to walk out the door because an alarm will go off. I may or may not have done that. And somebody was like, that's okay.
So it's a secure facility.
It is a secure,
so
which
we
is
have
very
double locks on all the doors and they're done by a code. So our family members are able to come and go as they please because they do know the codes.
Awesome.
And so do our staff. So we share that, with our families upon admission to our town. I call it a town because it truly is a town.
Right. Yeah. So don't be like,
Yes.
don't try to leave. Don't just try to leave.
You cannot leave Dementia Disney.
And I got the opportunity to go and do yoga for your residents as well too, which is something that I did when I was in Virginia Beach for another memory care facility. And I just loved it because I always tell people that my two favorite demographics to teach yoga to are small children because they still have that sense of like wonderment and, oh, whatever it is that you say, I'm going to try it. So they don't have like the adult, oh, I can't do that, I'm going to hurt myself type of thing. And then the other one is the older aging population because they're so compliant. Like I remember I did I just raise your arms and then I had a nose itch and I did this and they all like, I love you guys. And sometimes I would go there and they would remember who I was. And other times it was like meeting a friend for the very first time, but they were always excited that I was there.
So we offer 9 hours of active programming a day. So that it makes us completely unique because I've worked in many places in my career and you're seeing 2 hours of maybe of an activity. We have 9 hours. The only time they're not being able to participate in an activity is when they're eating. Okay. So it's constantly, they have something to do and we have multiple things to do because they can explore every area. So that's really important. I have an undergrad in therapeutic recreation and recreation is very important to participate in life.
So what are some of those, because 9 hours is a lot of time to fill. I'm trying to think of keeping my child entertained for 9 hours. But you do have somebody who facilitates that, right? She's the director of the.
Yes, we have an activities director. She is phenomenal at what she
Remind me of
do.
her name.
Lee.
Lee, it is. I'm like, I know it
Yes.
starts with an L, but I can't remember. Okay.
Lee is awesome at what she do because she really take the time to look at, so at the beginning, when someone signs up to move into our community, they complete a bio history kind of physical thing, just to kind of see what are your, your social activities, what do you like to do, what did you used to do for a living, what are your interests, your hobbies. And she takes all of that information and she's diligent about looking at those things and saying, you know what, we're going to create activities surrounding all of these things that everyone loves. So this way we know that it's something for everyone. But what we see a lot is with this type of population with dementia, they experience a lot of signs and symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we keep them active and we keep them engaged in socializing with one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for example, yesterday, just a smidge of what yesterday was, a redhead tea society for the ladies.
Okay.
So they had a wonderful tea party and then it was a volunteer hour. They actually helped stuff envelopes, do volunteer work, give it back to the community. And then the men went skeet shooting yesterday. And we also had our veterans club. We have quite a large veteran population at the facility.
Yeah.
Half of our residents are veterans.
Oh, that's amazing.
So the men were all shooting and the ladies were all tea drinking.
I love that. I love that. So let's chat a little bit about dementia itself, right? So I was naive or uninformed or whatever the word is that you want to call it. And I'm like, okay, dementia is dementia, right? You lose your memory. And that's so not correct. That is a myth. Let's bust that myth, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about dementia, because there's actually 9 types? And I'm just looking. I'm cheating. I remember that.
Yeah, so dementia, yes, you do, you become forgetful, you lose your memory, but dementia is more of an umbrella term. So you also have difficulty with problem solving as well. But think about dementia as kind of an umbrella. And then under that umbrella, you have different types. So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia.
Oh.
So Alzheimer's is the one that's most common. That's the one that everyone kind of identifies with. But there's multiple different kinds. You have Lewy bodies dementia, you have Parkinson's dementia. So there's different types. You have frontal lobe, which is becoming more and more prominent now. Dementia. So there's different types of dementia under that.
So, and they also have vascular dementia, so that occurs after a stroke. So there's different types of dementia can lead to different symptoms. There's not one, if you have this type of dementia, these are going to be your symptoms. It doesn't work like that. The brain is just so interesting and evolving of what we're learning about the brain. It's truly the most interesting aspect of our bodies that we just don't know a lot about the brain right now. We do know, some of the core symptoms of dementia, the early memory loss, the behavioral changes, mood lability. So those are kind of some of the symptoms of dementia. But one of the most interesting things about dementia is it's cutting edge right now. They're working on early onset dementia treatments that actually prolong the stage that you're in, the early stages of dementia, by 18 months.
Wow.
And it's actually an infusion you take every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it will help prolong your time with your family and friends and understanding and spending time with family. And after this infusion, they're looking at it, developing it into a patch. So you can wear it so it's not an infusion.
Okay.
So this is cutting edge. This is all new as of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Medicare is covering it because CMS is covering it.
Okay.
So it is a valid treatment for dementia. That's the first time we could ever say that there is a treatment. It is not a cure for dementia. It is, but it does prolong your life history of dementia.
Wow. Wow. Okay. What else do you say, right? Other than wow. But I do like the fact that you mentioned that so my assumption was, again, my, lack of knowledge, dementia is Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's
Mhm.
is dementia.
Mhm.
And it's just like this blanket statement, okay, if you're losing your memory, then you have Alzheimer's. Or as some people like, I know Alzheimer's. I'm like, that's not it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Or
But
spell it.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about a little bit, so more of like the family side of it, right? So you have an aging parent or a loved one or a
Mhm.
relative, and you start seeing signs. So I think, just like with anything else, early detection, right, is better than, oh my gosh, here we are in the middle of everything, and then everything is a crisis. Like, where do I go? Who do I, like, how do I get help? So what are some of the things that people can start noticing? And is there a certain age where they would start, okay, maybe we should be like aware of this?
I mean, when you say a certain age,
And I know that's not a blanket, it's not like, hey, if you
Yeah.
start doing this, then this is definitely what you have, but like just
Mhm.
some knowledge or some tips of like, so if I see this happening, I know to call
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
get help, or at least have a conversation so that somebody can help me navigate it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would do is kind of just spending time with your family. Like when you have a conversation with your loved one, look at what they're saying. So as kind of, regular, individuals, when we grow, right, when we age, we learn those regular social cues. Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. You talk about the weather, those kind of things.
Right.
So they've learned to, or individuals that start to develop those signs and symptoms of dementia, they kind of really rely on those regular average kind of social cues,
Okay.
right? So you want to look at, asking them something like, well, how was your day? And kind of really dive into like, how was your day to kind of see what's going on.
Okay.
Sometimes what they'll do is they'll continue to ask you questions.
Okay.
So they'll continue to say, well, how's the kids? They may not name the kids by name because
Gotcha.
they may have forgotten those names.
Okay.
But they might say, oh, how's the kids? Or like, it's how's the weather? Or,
Okay.
how are you? Just regular general things that you can ask anyone.
Okay.
But they kind of maybe have forgotten those details about what's going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the easier, simpler
Mhm.
questions that you can ask.
Yeah.
So that because I'm assuming that the person is trying to overcompensate for not being able to remember something. And so
Yes.
this is, oh, I can just ask you about the weather. And then they don't realize that they already asked you about the weather.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Or lack of communication.
Okay.
Sometimes you might see where, oh, wow, that's not really, we're all talking, maybe the kids are over, or, you're talking with mom and dad's there, but dad's kind of sitting in his chair. He don't really want to engage in conversation.
Okay.
So sometimes you see kind of a retreat back from, I don't want to socialize anymore because there's that fear of embarrassment of, man, somebody's going to find out that I really can't remember.
Okay. How long is and again, I know it's not you get 2 years, but right, it's not very cut and dry. But so if somebody who does start developing signs of that to like when it's full blown.
So there's different stages of
Okay.
dementia. You have, I think it starts at stage about 5 or 6. So there's like 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
By the time, so 5, you would say that's very mild. You're still able to kind of do a lot of things for yourself. You might need some redirection.
Okay.
But you're still able to, bathe yourself, wash your stuff. You can probably make some simple meals, those kind of things, but you would need kind of some reminders or redirection. 6 and 7, stage 6, I would say you need a little bit more support. You might see more falls. That's another indicator of, man, something's going on there. Frequent falls. What else? Behaviors, especially during
Getting
sundowning. Confusion.
Yeah, the wandering obviously is a big one in
Right.
dementia, is, where they literally don't remember where they are, where they lived, getting back home,
Okay.
driving is an issue.
And just the process with those, those daily living needs, so, bathing and dressing,
Okay.
or sometimes you see just not wanting to bathe. So you're kind of seeing that a lot more. But once you're at kind of stage 7, you're looking more like maybe palliative care in hospice, where you need a lot of support there.
Okay.
Some you see like macular degeneration.
Okay.
They lose their speech, those kind of things.
Okay. Okay. So how does, because you guys are obviously you want to be able to take care of them because you guys have such a wonderful location for them to go to. But if somebody doesn't know, right, and you guys are such a wealth of knowledge, and like, I mean, you just walk in and right there in your foyer, there's like, I don't know, 8 books about that show, right? So like, hey, if you don't know, there's a book that I can tell you right here. But you guys have a lot of literature and a lot of information that you can share with people. So how does somebody reach out to you? Like, what does that process look like? And I know you guys, right? So I've met you guys and I've known you and I've gotten to know you. So I know how caring you are with that, but that can be really terrifying for a family member to reach out and say, I don't know what to do. Like, this is what's happening right now. So what kind of resources do you guys offer?
That is probably my favorite thing to do.
Her job title is a memory care advisor. So this is what she does for a living. So I let her take it away.
Fantastic.
Yes, I have been called the resource queen. No.
I like it. Oh no.
But yes, education is a huge piece for me, and that's one of the reasons why I love this company, because they allow you to be able to provide those resources.
Awesome.
There's numerous books, and we have tons of them. We will be happy to give you one for free. You just come on by and say, hey, I heard you on Anna's show. You have that book for me? Absolutely. We are located at 13800 Bon Secours Drive at Midlothian. We're right next to St. Francis Hospital. I can give the number.
Yes, please,
so our phone number is 804-378-5100. So you can always give us a call if you're just kind of seeking information. We're going to be starting some memory care screenings at the community as well. So
I love that.
If you think that, hey, I'm thinking something's up with mom, or dad's not, he's acting a little unusual, we're going to be starting memory care screenings where you can come and just get a general screening just to see where you are. We don't provide any diagnosis or anything like that, but we can give you some information to take back to your physician to say, hey, I got a free memory care screening and this is kind of where we are. What do you suggest?
Yeah, I love that.
So, and then one of the other unique partnerships that we have right now is with VCU, with the Brain Health Initiative. And in April, it'll be the 4th, the last Thursday of every month. It's for a caregiver and a person with dementia, so a loved one and person with dementia, to come together to learn more about dementia. And it's led by the VCU team. And the VCU team is where people go for diagnosis of dementia.
Okay.
So that helps with the process learning, it's just all so confusing. What do I do next? Right. But having that time, you'll be together in a learning session and then broken into, 2 teams. Team dementia versus team caregiver. Okay. So then you can also talk about the unique aspects of living with dementia or being a caretaker of someone with dementia. So that will be starting, as I said, in April.
That's amazing.
And all of these things are free.
Yes,
they're free. Complimentary.
Yeah. We are very lucky that ProMedica Arden Courts is a nonprofit.
Okay,
so,
not for profit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we do offer a lot of free educational seminars. Some of them are virtual.
Okay.
So if you aren't able to kind of get out to the community to be able to learn about these things, we do offer seminars and things that are free.
Awesome.
That are virtual.
We just had 2 recently.
We did.
The Aid and Attendance Program, which is specifically for veterans.
Yes.
Okay.
And the second one was
Wine and Dementia.
I love it. So obviously with the virtual things that you have in events, they can go to your website and find it there.
Yes, they can go to our website and find it there. And that's Arden Courts Richmond.org. You can also, like I said, give us a call at 804-378-5100. You can ask to speak to me. My name is Ebony or Melissa. Anyone in our community would be happy to help.
I love that. Thank you for the services that you guys provide. So before we sign off today, how many units or what do you guys call them?
Rooms
Rooms,
or
okay.
units. Yeah, so
Living spaces.
Yeah, so right now we have 2 spaces available.
Okay.
But things are always becoming available. But right now we have about 2 available
Okay.
now.
How many do you guys have in total?
So we have the capacity for 52 residents is what we call them. So we have the capacity for 52. And then it may sound like a lot, but it's spread out through an entire town. So it's a wonderful place. We have couples.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Yes. So if you are wanting to live with your loved one with dementia, you can live with your loved one with dementia.
Do you have to have dementia in order to live with your loved one that has dementia?
No.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yes.
Just one of the individuals must have.
Must have dementia. Okay.
Correct.
Well, because then I can think of like, you've been married for 50 years or 60 years or something like that, and your spouse has dementia, and then they go off and they're confused because you're no longer there, right? And you've been in their life for 50 or 60 years. Now talk about a staple, right?
Yes.
That's, hey, how are you doing? How's the weather? Right? Like that's a staple that you just
Yes.
ask.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden they're not there. And then the same thing for the other spouse. But the beauty is of the opportunity to stay at home where it's just that one spouse taking care of the other one versus having skilled facility, skilled town that can help, but they get to remain with their loved one.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
my heart just broke.
And the great thing for our men here is usually in communities like this, it's predominantly women, but our community actually it's about even now of men to women.
Okay.
So men definitely have a special place in our community because they're usually the minority in communities such as these.
Okay, so it's mostly women that
And
develop dementia? Okay.
well, not that develop dementia, but usually in assisted living communities and in memory care communities, things like that. There's usually more women than men.
Okay.
But our community is a good mix.
That's awesome. Well, that's an interesting little tidbit. So next time you guys go to trivia, just remember that. All right. So just one more time, if you'll tell people where you're located, your phone number, and how they can reach you.
Yep. So we are located at 13800 Bon Secours Drive in Midlothian, Virginia. We're right next to St. Francis Hospital. You can contact us at 804-378-5100.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you guys for being here. And if you can't see them there, or if you can also see them in Swift Creek Living and the neighbors of Magnolia Green and Fox Creek. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Anything else that you want to add before we sign off? That sounds so fancy.
Yeah. Well, I will give you one trivia fact for today because I love trivia. So every 3 seconds, someone's being diagnosed with dementia.
Oh, that's a lot.
So
That's like now,
now,
Yeah.
now, that's a lot. All right. Well, take care of your loved ones. If you have any questions or need resources or just someone to talk to about what to do next, definitely reach out to Melissa and Ebony or anybody, one of the staff at Arden Courts of Richmond, because they will definitely help you. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being part of the in crowd. And remember, my friends, stay fluid. I'm always cheering for you.